All right, shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua Ba'Hashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well and teach well while learning truth. 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 of men, prophet, service, scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you few sisters out there that are sincere, and your children, shalom. And in today's video, as you can see, is going to be building off of this video I got from the brother, the whole for leg 3. And we're going to kind of just be building off of this video through the spirit. And as you can see from the title, it says, you know, Eve, or a so-called black woman, shares a dream of Jacob's trouble, man. You know, so we're going to get just straight into the video. We're going to allow it to play, and then I grab a few precepts, and Lord's willing to be edifying. But with that being said, fair use. I'm not getting paid for this video. Fair use.
Yo, what the fuck? I just woke up from a crazy fucking dream, yo. First of all...
Right, and I'm going to read that precept right there that the brother posted, Joel chapter 2, verse 28. It said, "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young and old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions." And this is ultimately the time of season that we're in, man. That's why you notice a lot of people in Babylon, even people from other parts of the world, they're all having dreams of, you know, just chaos and, you know, all type of end time, you know, events taking place, man. You know, you got people that are having dreams of the MOTB coming to pass, you know, and it's the major prophecies that we know that's ultimately coming down the pipeline. You know, people having dreams of Jacob's trouble, people having dreams of, you know, America being destroyed by nuclear missiles. You know, this is all part of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua pouring out his spirit upon all flesh, because we ultimately understand and know that according to prophecy that these things will come to pass. They're going to take place real soon, man. You know, as it tells us right here in this precept. I'm going to grab Habakkuk chapter 2, and I'll read verse 3. It says, "For the vision, which are the prophecies," right? Jacob's trouble, the MOTB microchip, World War III, right? The major prophecies that are to come real soon, which we're already in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble, as well as being in the beginning stages of the World War III. And we ultimately see that through everything that's happening here in planet Earth with all of these nations, all of them going digital, that we're definitely, you know, in the direction headed towards the MOTB as well. So for the vision is yet for an appointed time. But at the end, which we're at the end of Esau's rulership, right? It shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, right? Which means it looks like it's taking its time. You see, because the majority of the people here in planet Earth, especially among the majority of our people, they don't believe these prophecies and everything that we're warning them about through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua is going to come to pass. You know, a lot of these people don't think these things are actually going to happen, right? Because it's not right there in their face yet. But, hey, these people are about to see real soon, you know? So it says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And that's exactly the time we're in, man, where these prophecies are no longer tarrying, where you can literally see the writing on the wall of everything that's getting ready to happen real soon, right? So, yeah, man, I just wanted to grab that. So we're going to get back into it.
I look like what happened in the dream. I look freaked out. I wake up freaked up because my dream was freaked up. Let me tell you guys. Oh, my God. And you know, sometimes you dream and you don't remember that dream. But, oh, my God. I remember bits and pieces of that dream. I'm about to tell y'all what I just dreamed. Okay? So somehow, some way, I was in another state. I was not in New York. Who knows? Maybe I got so fed up in New York, I decided to go to another state. Okay? But anyways, wherever I am, I'm walking with Tessie down the street. Okay? No stroller. I'm carrying her. And it's definitely, the season definitely was the season for coats or jackets or whatever, because it's not like it's hot or warm weather, okay? And all of a sudden, I bust a corner, and there's a lot of people out in the street, right? Bunch of young, black people, probably between the ages of, like, 16 to, like, maybe 29, I would say. The people look like in my dream. Scattered about the place. it looked like a group of guys were like fighting or something like that. And the police was like, down the way. And there were people outside with military guns. I don't know. It looked like some type of civil war action taking place. Okay. And as
Right, and we heard a little bit of the video she said, and yeah, man, that's exactly what Yahweh Shemi Shai is about to bring to, ultimately the world altogether, but chiefly here in Babylon, the Great America. A lot of chaos, a lot of, mayhem, a lot of anarchy. These are the things that are about to plague this country real soon, man. And like I said, that's why Yahweh Shemi Shai is allowing so many people to have these visions, right, about these events, man, because this is what's really coming down the pipeline to this country. And like I said, we see that being manifested through everything that's going on in this country now. How you ultimately got, the cost of living being so high. You got all of these various different people being laid off left and right due to AI coming in and taking all of the jobs away from people. So, I mean, you got mass poverty that is going on, a lot of people being fired left and right. So you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be homeless, and that's going to create a lot of violence. And then you already see how, everything is going with Nero, Trump, how you got the whole MAGA divided thing, how you got a lot of people that voted for this devil, and how they're all upset because they literally see that he's not doing anything that he ultimately promised them that he was going to do. So, I mean, we literally see everything in this country just, set and put in place for, chaos to just, manifest at any given time, man. And we're definitely living in those times where chaos is going to happen, So I'm going to read 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and I'll start at verse 1. It says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you." That's talking about us hopeful elect brothers, as well as you few sister out there, you see, because we're ultimately watching, we're being occupied in prophecy. We know that these things are coming down the pipeline soon come. So that's why it says, I'm going to read it again, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you," because we know we're in the season of chaos. We know we're in the season of war, man. We know the Lord is about to bring all of these evils upon planet Earth. Right. So when it happens, we're not going to be surprised because we know it's coming. Right. Verse 2, it says, "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." Right. Verse 3, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon woman with child, and they shall not escape. Yeah. And that's how this destruction and this chaos is going to unfold. It's going to catch a lot of these people suddenly, just like the woman, in her dream, on the video I allowed to play that we're going to get back into. You basically, she said she was just walking and she just saw chaos happening. That's how it's going to happen, man. It's going to catch a lot of these people off guard because mainly they're not watching. They're not paying attention. You see, they're not moving in the right spirit. But, us hopeful elect brothers and sisters, when these things come, hey, we're going to be expecting it, man. So, yeah, I just wanted to pull that precept out as well. But I'm also grab this, right? Because we're definitely in the times and seasons of these things getting ready to unfold, right? So I'm going to go to Second Esdras chapter, I go to chapter 15, right? And I'll start at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Woe meaning destruction, because that's ultimately what Yahweh Shemi Shai is about to bring, right? Especially to this place, America, man. A lot of judgment is about to, get unleashed in these days that we're in, It says, verse 15, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh," right? When something's not, I mean, it's near, it's close, right? It's at the doors. It says that one people shall stand up and fight against another and swords in their hands, right? That's your civil war, right? With the woman ultimately seeing in their dream happening, right? People being in the middle of the streets, just bugging out, losing their mind, just doing all type of, madness. Hey, that's coming, man. Because, hey, these people eventually they're going to start doing these things, because like I said, a lot of these people are waking up to the truth that the American dream that they believed in and hold on so hard to is a lie. A lot of these people waking up to the realization that there's no help in this country. and that things is only going to continue to worsen. People understand and know that, hey, the price of food, the price of living, and everything else that they ultimately have to rely on for their day-to-day lives is just going to continue to get harder for them, man. And hey, the Lord is going to put the spirit on these people to just, bug out, But it says, and swords in their hands, right? Talking about the guns, right? Verse 16, for there should be sedition among men and invading one another, right? Yeah, that's going into people fighting against the government, man, because a lot of these people, they're going to blame the government for everything that is going on in this country, man, due to the crash of the dollar, due to, everything else that's going to happen real soon. A lot of the people are going to really point their finger at the government. Right. So you're going to have people fighting against the government. That's what that word sedition means. It means basically an uprising against the government. So it says, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. Yeah. They're not going to care about these politicians. They're not going to care about the police officers, none of these different types of, people, man. Everybody's going to be out here just, doing whatever they want to do, man. It's just going to be complete lawlessness, man, on all sides, It says, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah, people going to be doing whatever it is they want to do, man, right? Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Yeah, that's what's coming, man, because ultimately in the midst of these civil wars happening, these devils, Ordo Ab Chaos, they're going to come in with the, they ultimately create the problems, you see, and they look at the reaction of the people, then they come in with the solution. And ultimately, when this chaos, which they ultimately wants it to happen, you see, because that gives them, justification, to move full speed with their agenda, these devils, right? So once, the chaos begins to unfold, then guess what? They're going to bring in the military, which we already see the prelude to that happening already. That's why you got Donald Trump, sending all of these National Guard soldiers throughout various different cities in America, because really they're just doing test runs for what's really to come in the near future, man. You see, so they're just setting the stage, for what is coming, man. Right? Because as I'm going to read again, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Yeah. You ain't going to be able to move around freely in the times to come because you're going to have military checkpoints. You won't be able to move around because ultimately it all goes back to the MOTB, because if you really want to be able to move around in the time to come, you're going to have to take this RFID microchip because that's what they're going to ultimately tell people you have to take. You see, if you want to move around freely, go from city to city, state to state, here, you got to take this RFID microchip, this chip the size of a grain of rice. That's what they're going to tell people, man. Right. And people are going to take it. A lot of people, due to all of the chaos that's going to be happening, people are going to be looking for, a sense of normality and all of these things. The government knows this, man. They know what these people going to want, you see, because they know these people are simple. Right. So a lot of these people, when this devil comes in with this chip trying to be Mr. Nice Guy, a lot of these people going to take it. Right. But it says, verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. Yeah, that's what's coming, man. Right? Because we know that and understand that these people in America are very proud, man. The men, the women, the 2/3 of Jake, especially these heathens, chiefly Esau, Edom. Hey, these people are proud, man. They don't believe that none of these bad times is ever going to plague this place, America. They believe in their mind that this country is going to just continue to stand tall and not have to go through anything. And these people over here are just going to remain comfortable forever. That's what they believe in their mind, man. And that's due to the pride that these people have, right? They don't feel like this place can be touched. But as it tells us in Second Esdras 8:50, man, for many great miseries shall be done unto them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride. And that's exactly what Yahweh Shem Yahushua is about to bring upon the inhabitants of Babylon the Great, man. A lot of miseries, you see. And we're definitely in that time, right? But this is verse 19. It said, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. That's how bad it's going to get. Your neighbor Bob that you've been knowing for 20, 30 years, hey, he ain't going to care about you in the times that are coming, man. You see it. The scriptures tells us, a man's foes should be they of his own household, man. The Lord is coming to divide everything down the middle, man. So your neighbor is going to be your enemy in these times, your family members. I mean, it's just going to be complete chaos, complete craziness going on, man. Just people just bugging all the way out. But we know it tells us in Matthew 24 and 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, man. Right? That word cold in the Greek means psychos or crazy. So everybody, chiefly majority of these Americans in this time that's coming, they're going to be in that psychotic spirit, man. Right? And that's because they're not going to have the spirit of the Lord on them. So they're going to be in a demonic type of, state. Right? It says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Yeah, that's coming. And spoil their goods. People going to be ransacking people's houses, doing all type of madness. It says because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Yeah, that's what's going to be going on, man. Right? And like I said, all of this is ultimately going into the time of Jacob's trouble. That's where you're going to have all of this chaos taking place. That's where you're going to have all of these situations unfolding. That's why the scriptures tells us, Jacob's trouble is going to be a time like no other, right? And I'm going to actually grab that. I'm going to go to Matthew, right? Chapter 24. And I'll read verse 21, getting straight to the point. And it says, for then shall be great tribulation, right? That's coming. We're already in the beginning stages of it. Such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So yeah, man, Jacob's trouble is going to be a time worse than anything ever known to man. You see, ultimately, you could think about anything that have ever happened, since the earth has been in its existence. And all of those things ultimately put together is not going to amount to this time of trouble that we're in the beginning stages of, man. Right? It's going to be so bad that, Yahweh Shem Shah is going to, allow the Archangel Michael to stand up, man. That's how, just to protect the elect of the nation of Israel. That's how bad it's going to get, man. It's going to be worse than the days of Noah, which was the first death. The flood is going to be worse than Sodom and Gomorrah and the 5 cities that were burnt. It's going to be worse than the transatlantic slave trade. And we understand and know that these were, some horrible times for our people, man. Right? 70 AD, all of those different types of things. But Jacob's trouble is going to make all of that stuff look like a cakewalk, man. Right? That's how bad it's going to be. And this is why we ultimately tell you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, both men and women, to repent, man, and ultimately to seek the Lord. You see, because the Lord is going to be your only defense in these times that are coming. You see, you ain't going to be able to make it through these times on your own, leaning unto your own understanding, going off of what you think, what you believe, what you feel, all of this, BS that people think now. None of that's going to matter in the times that's coming, man. The only thing that's going to matter is if Yahweh Shah is with you or not, man. Right? This is Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. It says that at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince will stand up for the children of thy people. And we understand and know that Yahweh Shem Shah is only giving Michael the charge to take care of the elect of his people. Right? Michael is not going to be given the authority to, protect 2/3 of Jake or you damn heathens, man. No, the Lord is only going to give him the charge to take care of the elect of his people. Right? It says, and there should be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Yeah, that's talking about the elect, those that were predestined from the beginning to receive salvation. They're going to ultimately be the ones to make it through all of these different type of events that are going to ultimately transpire here so on the planet Earth. They're going to make it through all of the different type of, evil that the Lord is about to pour out upon these shores of America as well as throughout the earth, man, in these last days, right? The elect, they're going to make it through all of these perilous times that are upon us, right? Because as it tells us right here, let me grab that real quick. I'm going to go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, right? And I'll start at verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And how do you measure the time diligently in itself? You ultimately look at what the prophecies say, the scriptures, and you align it with what's happening in the earth now. So we see that everything that Lord Yahweh Shah was speaking about to his disciples 2,000 years ago, we see those things happening now in planet earth in our time, and they're happening all at once. We see the nation rising against nation, which is ultimately going to lead to these civil wars, people being divided, people being contentious with one another. We see and hear about the wars and the rumors of wars that are happening, which we know ultimately is going to lead to the Third World War. We see all of these things happening, man, right? The earthquakes in diverse places, the pestilences just keep arising out of nowhere, these different sicknesses and things like that. We see all of these things happening, and they're all happening at one time. You see, which all of these things indicate that we're at the time of the end. That's why these things are happening, So it says, and when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Yeah, we in a time of season where the Lord is about to, send his only begotten son, our Lord Yahweh Shah, back to this earth, man. Right? And it's coming soon, because that's why ultimately everything is going to lead up to the second return of our Lord and Savior, right? Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, right? Because that's what ultimately all of this is going to bring about, right? Verse 3, it says, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes, which you have happening all throughout the earth, right? And uproars of the people in the world, you have those happening as well. You got a situation that just occurred in Mexico, where you had the Northern Kingdom out there. They were, protesting against their government and things like that. They were looting, they were doing all type of things. But that's coming to America as well, man. You see, you've been having a lot of these Babylonians protesting and things like that, but eventually it's going to become more physical, man, right? The Lord is going to turn up the temperature. Things are going to worsen. So it says, verse 3 again, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, verse 4, then shall thou well understand that the Most High, Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah, spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Yeah, because literally everything that we're watching play out, all going according to prophecy, man. This is all the counsel of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah, right? He's the one that's ultimately bringing about these things, right? So this is verse 5. It says, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Yeah, man, the end is revealing itself, right? And it says, verse 6, even so the times also at the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs, right? And we see those signs, right? From the blood moons that keep happening, aurora lights being all throughout the country and different various places. You keep having these different types of, like lunar moons and, all type of different little, phenomenons that just been occurring through the last few months, man. The eclipses that been happening. You had one that happened, I believe, in 2024. So, I mean, we see all of the signs, that's pointing to us being in these times, So I'm going to read verse 7. It says that everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. And that's the elect, man. They're going to ultimately make it through the times that are coming, as I've said, right? And their faith, right? And they're showing their faith in the Lord by their works, man, right? By them going out on the highways and the byways, teaching, upload these videos daily, doing the things in which it is that the elect of the Lord will be doing, man. They'll be showing their faith in the Lord by their works, by their conduct, by how they live their lives, their behavior, right? And it says, verse 8, shall be preserved, right? They're going to be preserved, man, which means to be kept away from the said perils, right? So they're going to be kept from the evils that are coming. And shall see my salvation in my land and within my border, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning, right? Going into the elect, man, right? Being predestined. Right? They're going to be the ones to escape all of the things that is about to come down the pipeline upon, the world ultimately. But for the 2/3 of our people, as well as these heathens, oh yeah, these people got a rude awakening coming to them, man. Because you see all of these things that Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah is ultimately about to unleash upon planet Earth in these times. These things are only coming for the wicked. That's why the elect are not going to, worry about the things that are coming, man. Right? Because the Lord is going to give them that spirit to where they're not going to ultimately be, worried, right? Now, the rest of these people, they're going to be worried in these times, man, right? And that's because they know they're not right, man. You see, they're going to know that they've been, and I'm talking about the majority of Jake, our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians. That's because they know that they have not been trying to get right with the Lord, man, when they had yet liberty. They wasn't trying to seek the Lord. They wasn't trying to establish a relationship with him. They cared more about the cares of the affairs of this life rather than trying to please the Lord. So, hey, they're going to be the ones to suffer in these times, man, when all of these things really begin to hit. So I'm actually reading verse 9. It says, then shall they be a pitiful case which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments, which means, hey, you people are going to suffer, man. All of you Israelites out there that despise the words of Yahweh Shai, you're not trying to take heed to what it is the men of the Lord are speaking. Hey, in the times to come, hey, you're going to suffer, man. That's just what it is. You, your little offsprings, your wife, all of you jakes, man, that, despise and you hate the ways of the Lord. You people are going to die, man, right? It says, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. Yeah, that's because our people don't want to get to know the Lord. You see, like I was just saying a minute ago, they're too busy caught up on everything else that doesn't matter, walking after the flesh, trying to get money and, lay up themselves treasures upon this side. They care about everything else other than trying to get right with the Lord. But in the times to come, a lot of our people, they're going to wish that they sought after the Lord, man. But they're going to wait ultimately last minute, till everything begins to hit the fan. That's what Jake gonna, wish that they would have turned back, man. But it's gonna be too late, right? That's why we tell you, Jakes, to make no tarry and to turn to the Lord, man. Because, like I said, these times are at the door, right? We already in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. We just only gonna continue to see things escalate as time progresses, of course. But we're already here, man. Right? That's why every day you wake up and look at the news, there's something different going on. ICE going into another city, snatching up Jake and things like that. And hey, it's just going to become the norm. And ultimately, it's going to get worse and worse. Right? So it says, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. Yeah, they despised the words of Yahweh Shai. Right? Verse 12, the same as doing at the death by pain. And that's exactly what the Lord is about to bring in these times, man, upon the wicked of his people, as well as you heathens, man. The Lord is about to bring a lot of judgment, man. And he's going to send various different things to do it, man. He's going to send these famines, right? He's going to send these pestilences. He's going to send, these race wars, all of these different type of, events down the pipeline to, bring judgment, man. So I'm going to get back into the video and we'll listen to just a little bit more of it. So bear with me while I pull it back up. But yeah, we're definitely in these times, man, where, all of these things that the men of the Lord have been prophesying of and speaking about is really about to manifest, man. We're in those times and seasons. But, I'm going to just get back into the video.
As I walk further up the street, I noticed that there is a young black guy dressed in all black from head to toe with mask, everything like that on his face. And he was bent down with something in his hand. And the more I look, I see that it's a pew-pew. And I'm headed that direction with my baby. So I'm like, is he about to shoot some people? Let me hurry up and walk further past him. That way, if the gun goes off, we've already passed him. You understand? So, I hurry up, I keep walking till I get past him. Then, of course, it rings out, okay? Fire rings out. And I'm like, yeah, they're shooting. Then you hear, woo, the sirens, everything, the police coming, people scattering about the place. I'm like, I don't got to worry about what's taking place back there because we've already walked away from it. As I continue walking, the sidewalk looks like it cuts off into a dam or of some sort. All of a sudden, the road turns into a river. I don't know how the road turned into a river, but the road turned into a river. And there's a bunch of white men in the river with yellow highlighter jackets on. And the people who are walking in front of me are black people. And the people in the river are white men with safety jackets on. Like they were wearing safety jackets that were also yellow highlighter. The sidewalk starts breaking off. And so now there's water in between the space of where I'm walking and where I'm trying to get onto the other piece of the sidewalk. And then them white men they just start to take these like shovels and splash water up onto the sidewalks in like a heavy amount to make the black people lose their balance and fall into the water and like wash from the sidewalk into the water and drown.
Right? You hear what it is she said? Yeah, man, that's going into those race wars, man. You know, you're going to have Esau out here trying to delete Jake and vice versa, man. You're going to have Jake, you know, trying to delete Esau, man. That's what's going to be happening in these times of Jacob's trouble, man. You see, it's just going to be complete chaos and lawlessness, you know. And like I said, your only hope in these times for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians is Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. You see, because like I said, these times are coming, you know. It's only a matter of time. But with that being said, Lord's willing, I pray this video be edifying, just something quick through the spirit. To the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect. Shalom.